Okay, so picture this. You walk into this saloon, right? Dim lights, smoky air.
Mm.
It's late, maybe 10 o'clock, dark, drizzling outside. A real rough Western town feel.
Yeah, you can almost smell the stale beer and cigar smoke.
Totally. And the crowd is, well, it's what you'd expect. Guys lounging at the bar, some playing cards.
Solitary types, too, just nursing a cigar, keeping to themselves.
Exactly. And the bar itself, tall decanters, those upside-down glasses with lemon slices ready.
And that mirror covered with pink mosquito netting. That detail always jumps out.
Right. Kind of strange. And the bartender, just looking stoic. So let's dive into this scene.
Well, what grabs me straight away is how those details just immerse you. It's not just description.
Yeah.
That mosquito netting, for instance, it feels practical, sure, but maybe something else, like a faded attempt at refinement in this pretty rough place.
Oh, interesting. Like civilization trying to hang on.
Maybe. It hints at that constant tension, in places like this. Development versus the wild.
Okay, yeah, I see that. And that's exactly the kind of thing we're doing here in this deep dive. We're
Right.
using excerpts from Beadle's New York Dime Library, #1. Think of it like a window into how the West was portrayed then.
Popular entertainment.
Exactly. And our mission, basically, is to pull out the juicy bits. Life, drama, the characters, the social dynamics, or maybe the lack of them.
All from these dime novels.
Yeah, it's like a shortcut so you get the flavor without sifting through everything yourself. So, welcome. Let's see what we find.
Okay, so after setting that scene, what caught my eye next were these two men. They're dressed like the others, sort of, but cleaner, better kept.
Uh-huh. Suggests something, right?
Right, like maybe they're a cut above the rest, socially speaking. But the interesting part is nobody seems to notice them. They just blend in. What do you think that's about?
It feels like they're watching, like they want to blend in, even though they're different. The text even calls them intelligent, says they'd stand out back east.
But not here.
Right, not here where all distinctions were leveled.
Yeah.
So why are they there in that saloon? And why be so inconspicuous? It says something about navigating that world, maybe.
I think it does. It suggests that even in this supposedly egalitarian Wild West, there were still subtle hierarchies. People could read the signs.
And these two understood that.
Perhaps. Maybe they were using it to their advantage or just trying to avoid trouble. It definitely makes you think about how even unstructured societies develop ways of, well, recognizing status.
Yeah, good point. Okay, so then the plot kicks in. A question comes up about some fella named Missouri Bill.
Ah, yes, Missouri Bill.
And the guy asking the question, he gets described pretty well. Medium height, dark, wavy hair, mustache, but otherwise clean-shaven, firm mouth, clear gray eyes.
Setting him up is important, perhaps.
Seems likely. But the key thing is the reaction when he admits he doesn't know who Missouri Bill is. People are floored.
Utterly surprised. Like, how could you possibly not know?
What does that tell you about Bill's reputation? Must be huge, right?
Absolutely massive. It implies everyone in that world knows his name. Whether they fear him or, I don't know, respect him. He's a known quantity.
A big one.
And that detailed description of the questioner. Maybe a hint he's our protagonist.
Could be. Dime novels loved setting up their heroes, or maybe anti-heroes, with those specific markers.
And we quickly find out why Missouri Bill is such a big deal. Another patron jumps in with this amazing description, calls him a gay young rooster
Yes!
who can catawampously chaw up any two-legged critter what das to show his head and crow. I mean, wow.
That language, it's so over the top, isn't it? Pure dime novel.
Totally. What does that tell you?
It's about creating legends, not realism. Big, memorable figures. The hyperbole is part of the fun, sets the stage for action.
Yeah.
And that dialect, catawampously chaw up,
Yeah.
really roots it, gives it that specific, maybe slightly exaggerated Western flavor. How does it strike you?
Oh, it definitely paints a picture of a rough and ready world.
Yeah.
And then, boom, the man himself walks in.
The entrance. Yeah. Tall, raw-boned, gaunt face, high cheekbones, slouch hat way over, red flannel shirt, but with these, fancy black velvet bits.
Oh, bells and cuffs, yeah. And anchors embroidered on them?
Anchors. So weird. Faded gray pants, big belt with pistol, and of course the Arkansas toothpick, the Bowie knife in his boot.
The classic accessories.
And the effect. Total silence. The whole room just freezes. What that silence mean to you?
It's pure power dynamics, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just how he looks, though I'm sure that helps. It's the reputation walking in ahead of him.
Yeah.
That silence it's deference. Fear, maybe.
Acknowledgement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those anchors. What is that about? Such a strange detail for this tough guy.
It is odd. Maybe a hint of a past life? A sailor? Or
Yeah.
just flair, adding some theatricality to the intimidation.
We either.
Yeah.
Makes him more memorable. Even the guy who's just bragging about him looks pleased. Like, see? Told you so.
Right. Now, just before Bill came in, remember that young guy, the stripling? He'd ordered a drink, seemed totally clueless about the tough talk.
Oblig.
So Missouri Bill walks up, and the bartender is practically falling over himself to serve him, shoots this quick, nervous look at the kid.
Mm-hmm.
What's that little interaction show?
Oh, it perfectly lays out the pecking order.
Yeah.
Bartender knows who matters, who gets served first, who holds the power.
Yeah.
The kid is just background noise to him at that moment.
Until he's not.
Right. It's a neat little snapshot of the saloon's and probably the town's hierarchy.
So Bill just barks his order. Brandy doesn't even look at the crowd staring at him, just basks in it with royal nonchalance.
Soaking it in.
But the oblivious kid is still there, lost in thought. And Bill, clearly not used to sharing space, just shoves the kid's drink aside, spills it.
Arrogant move. Expecting no comeback.
But he gets one. The kid flares up, face red, demands an apology.
Whoa. Okay, that's unexpected, given the buildup.
What's that defiance suggest? Is the kid just naive, or is there something more there?
That's the question, isn't it? Is it pure ignorance of the danger, or does he have some backbone we didn't expect?
It definitely sparks the conflict. Raises the stakes instantly. Missouri Bill seems genuinely surprised for a second. Like, did that really just happen?
Confused for a moment, the text says. He's not used to being challenged.
But it doesn't last. He starts cursing, reaches for his gun.
Here we go.
But just then, this voice cuts in. Clear, incisive, like a knife through the tension.
Ooh, okay. That description. Clear, incisive, that sounds like control, authority. Not like the rough talk we've heard so far.
Yeah, it suggests someone who isn't easily rattled, commands attention differently. Who is this guy?
Exactly. New player on the board.
And he immediately seems to have Bill at a disadvantage, tells him to hold off, pick on someone his own size, and says this boy can handle himself.
So the stripling isn't helpless.
Apparently not. The text makes a point of saying he seems fully able to take care of himself. Why flag that so clearly, you think?
Well, it flips the script, doesn't it? It's not just a bully picking on a victim. It hints the boy might be more than he appears. Classic underdog setup, maybe. Makes the conflict more interesting.
Okay, things heat up fast, more guns come out, people scramble to get clear.
Smart move.
And back in the corner, remember our two observers, the gentlemen.
The ones who are blending in, yeah.
The major turns to his friend and says something like, see, told you you'd get a subject to study. Hope the boy wins. He's got pluck.
He calls it a subject, like it's a science experiment.
Yeah, kind of detached, right? Watching it like entertainment. But he's rooting for the kid, calls Bill a lubberly buffalo bull.
So he dislikes the bully, admires the courage. Interesting. Gives you a sense of how maybe some people view these brawls as spectacles, maybe even a rough form of justice playing out.
Okay, chapter 2 kicks off right after. Missouri Bill admits he's been, momentarily stopped. Danes, you've got me this once.
But he's not backing down.
Not a chance. He spins around, challenges whoever's behind him. The guy with the voice promises to make crowbait out of him. What's that tell you?
He just cannot stand being thwarted. Even when he's clearly outmaneuvered, his immediate reaction is more aggression, redirected. It's all about dominance for him. No reflection, just lash out.
And the reaction, suddenly 20 guns are drawn, a score of 6 shooters.
Oh, okay. Tense.
But another voice calls out Poker Tom. He yells for fair play, man to man, that's square.
Poker Tom. Trying to impose some rules, even here.
Seems like it. What does that suggest? Is there some kind of code, even a rough one?
Maybe an ideal of a code, the idea of a fair fight one-on-one being more honorable, even if the reality is usually messier. It raises that question, what was considered square in that world?
But then the guy with the voice, the stranger at the end of the bar, he makes this incredible move.
Yeah. What?
His cigar just vanishes. Poof. Replaced by a revolver aimed right at Poker Tom.
At Poker Tom. While still covering Missouri Bill.
Yep. His other pistol is still on Bill. Talk about control. What's that move say about him?
Wow. Okay, that says he's completely in command. He anticipates threats, neutralizes them instantly, manages multiple angles. There's a real ruthlessness under that calm exterior. And the casualness, cigar to gun, that speaks volumes about his comfort level with violence.
Missouri Bill, meanwhile, is still blustering, shouting threats. Probably too angry or stubborn to see he's outmatched.
While the stranger's just cool, bored, almost. Twirling his mustache, blowing smoke.
Right. That contrast is huge, isn't it? Bill's losing it, the stranger's barely breaking a sweat.
It's a psychological battle as much as anything, and the stranger is winning that hands down.
Yeah.
His indifference just makes Bill seem more frantic, more desperate.
Then the stranger actually agrees to a duel with Bill, but he throws in a curveball. He
Oh.
picks Dr. Chillingworth, one of our observers, to be his second.
Dr. Chillingworth, the gentleman. Why him?
Good question. The doc is stunned, hesitant. Seems he actually feels a bit sorry for Misery Bill now.
Interesting choice. Maybe the stranger sees him as respectable, someone who lends legitimacy. Or maybe he senses the doctor's sympathy and thinks he can use it somehow. It's definitely unexpected.
And then we get this really kind of poignant moment. The stranger leans in, talks to Dr. Chillingworth about how a man can turn bad, feels wronged, cut off, loses faith.
He opens up to the doctor.
Yeah. And the doctor's moved by it, seems to understand, even offers his hand. What does that sudden vulnerability show?
It adds depth.
Yeah.
Right? Makes him more complex than just the cool, deadly gunman. Suggest maybe his coldness is a shield covering up some past hurt or disillusionment. It humanizes him.
Yeah.
And the doctor's reaction shows his own compassion.
But then it gets weird again. The stranger pulls out a miniature portrait, looks at it frowning.
A miniature.
Yeah. And Dr. Schillingworth sees the frown and suddenly feels this wave of, revulsion. He even wonders if he's met this guy before somewhere.
Ooh, a flicker of recognition.
Mm.
Or just bad vibes. That creates suspense. What's the story behind the miniature? Who is this stranger, really?
And just as the doctor's having this thought, Missouri Bill interrupts again, shouting, taunting the stranger, asking if he's getting scared.
He just doesn't quit, does he? Even facing a duel, he's trying to provoke, maybe out of pure insecurity at this point.
The stranger just brushes him off, which makes Bill even angrier, being ignored, unrecognized, insulted. So the duel is on, and the setup is wild.
How so?
They tie Missouri Bill's leg to the stranger's leg.
What? Tied together?
Yeah. What does that do to the fight?
Wow. Makes it incredibly close range.
Yeah.
No escape, no dodging. Much more brutal, more personal. Forces them right up against each other. Highly theatrical, too.
And then the stranger changes completely. The casual attitude, the sneer, it's gone. He looks stern like an avenger. His voice is clear, cunning, merciless. He tells Bill to stand up and face your doom like a man.
Doom. Whoa. So the playful act is over? This is serious. This is personal for him, maybe. It reveals his real intention, his focus.
And Missouri Bill, all that
That
bluster, gone. He's terrified, actually quivering from head to foot.
finally realizes the danger he's in.
Yeah. The tension is insane. Bill's second starts counting. The room's dead silent. Everyone's pale, clutching their guns, just waiting.
You can feel it.
And Bill thinks, okay, I might die, but I'm taking him with me. That's his last thought. Vengeful to the end.
Even staring death in the face, his instinct is still to inflict harm. Tells you a lot about him.
But the stranger's move is quick and surprising.
He shoots.
He does, but instead of the chest, he turns the gun slightly, hits Bill's forearm, hits the bone, knocks his arm, and presumably his gun aside.
Wounds him, doesn't kill him.
Not yet. He wounds him, disarms him, basically, then immediately aims again. Why do that, you think? Why not just end it?
Control. Maybe he wanted to disarm him cleanly first. Or maybe there's a reason he wants Bill conscious for what comes next. Or maybe it's a specific kind of punishment. It definitely adds another layer to the stranger's motives. Very calculated.
And the scene ends right there. Bill falls, silent, convulsing. Grim silence in the saloon. Wow. Even just that glimpse, things went from 0 to 60, huh?
Absolutely. You go from that smoky, almost mundane saloon scene to sudden, deadly violence and this mysterious stranger taking complete control. It really shows you the volatility depicted in these dime novels.
Yeah, those contrasts are stark, the rough setting, but then hints of intelligence or codes of conduct, however brief. And this stranger just emerges from nowhere.
Leaves you with so many questions about him.
It really does. And when you think that this stuff was popular reading, like mass market,
Yeah, everyone's reading these.
it makes you wonder, right? What does this kind of story tell us about the people reading it back then? Their values, their fears, what were they looking for in entertainment?
That's the big question. What anxieties or desires did these stories tap into? What might a modern reader find surprising? The casual violence.
Yeah.
The clear good versus evil, maybe. Or maybe how complex some characters could be underneath the stereotypes.
Yeah. How were the myths of the West being built, right, in these cheap little books, and why did people find them so compelling?
Definitely food for thought. Something to chew on long after we wrap up this deep dive.